All right, today we're going to do Unit 7, Lesson 14. It's changing fractions to decimals. You guys have already done this. And then talking about what happens when they are repeating decimals, which, again, we've already done. So it should be kind of review. SAB page 303 through 305. Okay, this is just looking at fractions as decimals and how you could break those apart. So if we took 100 pennies and we divided them by 4 or broke them into 4 parts, right, we would have 25 pennies in each little section here. Okay, you can circle all of those. Whereas if we break them into 8 parts, we actually have to cut a penny in half, cut this penny in half, and break them up. Okay. So you can kind of see how those divide up. You can finish cutting your pennies if you would like to. So a fourth of a dollar, hopefully by now we know that's 25 cents, right? And then an eighth of a dollar is 25 cents cut in half, okay, which is 125 hundredths. Okay, so a fourth of a dollar when we divide out 25 cents. 2/4 of a dollar, hopefully this makes sense, right? If we take 2 and we divide it by 4, it's 50 cents. It's like saying 2/4 of a dollar. 3/4 of a dollar, right, is 75 cents. And I think it's always easier for you guys to start with thinking about this like money. When we think about fourths, we should think about quarters right away, okay? Well, eighths are half of that, and we already found out what 1/8 is up top. It's 125 hundredths, right? It's 25 divided in 2. Well, hopefully you're seeing the connection. 2/8 is the same thing as 1/4, so 25 cents. Okay, 4/8 is the same thing as 1/2, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And 6/8 is the same thing as 3/4, so 75. Okay, well then on this next one, on number 10, when we take 30 and divide it by 8, 30 divided by 8 is 3. Okay, and then 3 times 8 gives us 24. So as we subtract out, we get a 6. And then 8 into 60, so 60 divided by 8 is 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract out, you get 40, and that's 5. So 375 hundredths. What you should notice is that's 3 times this, okay? So if you want to work these others out, you're welcome to. This one is 6 and 25 hundredths, and then 7/8 is 875 hundredths. Okay, I ran into it with my writing. So the pattern that we see here is just the way that they increase, right, by equal amounts each time. So the fractions keep continually increasing by equal numbers. And then if you want to see the ones that have an equivalent decimal value, they just line up just like they always have on our number line and our fraction lines and stuff like that. So those would be these circled ones kind of as the answer to number 16. These would all be the equivalent ones, right? Okay, so moving on then, just thinking about fifths. So when we divide fifths, 1/5 of a dollar, basically, is another way to think about it, is 20 cents. So you could circle each group of 20, okay? And then we're going to take the 1, it goes under the division house, right? So our numerator goes under the division house, our denominator goes outside the division house. Bring that decimal up because we had to add a 0 to it because 5 won't go into 1. So we add a decimal, add a 0. 5 into 10, 2 times, so 2/10. And hopefully you guys already know that 1/5, right? An equivalent fraction would be 2/10. So said the same, written the same. So the 2 goes under the division house, add the 0. 5 goes outside the division house. Hopefully you know already, 4/10. Again, 3 under the division house, add the 0. 5 outside the division house, 6/10. 5 outside the division house, 4 under the division house, add the 0, 8/10. Okay, and then we're just going to throw that onto the number line, thinking about 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, and 8/10. And then how that relates to fifths, right? 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and 4/5. All right, then going on, thirds and sixths are tricky. It's one that I kind of think you guys just need to memorize. Thirds, when you divide them out, are going to be a repeating decimal. You guys can look at the picture and divide those out if you would like to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and think about 3 into 10, right, would be 3 times, because 3 times 3 is 9. When I subtract out, I still get a 1. And that leaves me with 3 into 10 again. So ultimately, I'm going to end up with a 3 repeating. Okay, if you see that pattern. If you need to go out a few more steps to really understand that, please keep going. 3 times 3 is 9, right? Put my 9 down. When I subtract, I'm going to get a 1, and I'm going to bring that down. And that's just going to keep going on and on and on. Well, the same thing happens with 2/3. Okay, when I have 2/3, think about 3 into 20 is 6, right? 6 times 3 is 18. And so when I subtract out, I get another 2. And then I'm on to 20 again. 3 into 20 is 6. And it's just going to keep going, never ending. Okay, so it's a repeating decimal. Same thing with 6. Well, 6 goes into 10 one time. All right, so I'm going to bring my decimal up. And that's 6, and I get a 4. When I bring that decimal down, right, 6 into 40 is 6 times 6, which is 36. And then I'm stuck with that 4 again, right, because I subtract out and I get a 4 and I bring down the 0. So it's going to end up being 6 repeating. Okay, same thing with 5, 6. 5 goes into, or sorry, 6 goes into 50 8 times. Okay, 8 times 6 is 48. And when I subtract out, I get a 2. And I bring my 2 down. 6 into 23 times. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18. And I'm just going to keep getting that 2 back, because I'm going to subtract down. I'm going to get a 2. It's 3, 18, 2. Right? And it's just going to keep going on forever and ever. So you can fill those 6 into your number line down below here. Pause the video if you need to do that. 0, 6, 1, 6, right? 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, and 6, 6. And then you can match up the decimals from up top on that one. Okay, so let's go on and take a look at some word problems using this concept. Okay, in a baseball and softball, the batting average describes how well a player hits. It's actually not a mean, even though it's called an average. A player's batting average is a fraction with the number of hits over the number at bats. These fractions are usually written as decimals, and they go out 3 places. So it's how many hits versus how many at-bats there were. So in the first 4 games of the season, Lauren got 3 hits in 9 at-bats. What was her batting average? So we're going to do 3 over 9 is our fraction, 3/9, right? Which 3/9, hopefully right off you see 3 goes into both 3 and 9 is 1/3. 1/3 is that repeating decimal that I told you. I don't know, you can divide it out. I just kind of remember that it's going to be repeating. We go out 3 places in a batting average and it repeats. Okay, if you needed to work this out, it would be setting it up like this. 1 divided by 3, add in that 0. Okay, and then kind of going on from there. Felicia's on a softball team. Her first 8 at-bats, she got 5 hits. What's her batting average? Her batting average is 5/8, right? And then we need to actually divide that out and turn that into a decimal. So numerator goes under the division house, 5. We're going to divide that by 8. 8 can't go into 5, so we have to add a 0. 50 divided by 8 is 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Bring down that 2. I can add another 0 on because I can keep adding those on. 20 divided by 8 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract out, I get a 4. Bring another 0 down. 8 divided by 40, or sorry, 40 divided by 8 is 5, because 5 times 8 is 40, and then I get my 0. Okay, so her batting average is 625 thousandths. Okay, that's the batting average. So let's try the next one. On Saturday, Allie played baseball with her family. She got 3 at-bats and 2 hits. So what's her batting average? 2/3. Okay, 2/3. We're going to take that, and hopefully you know, because it's thirds, it's that repeating decimal. So it would be this, but because we go out 3 places, you can round up at that 3rd place and then stop it, because that's part of the batting average. So let me show you how that works. 2 goes under the division house, 3 comes out to the side, add a 0, 3 into 20, right? 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. And you guys see already that I'm going to get that 2 back. And when I get that 2 back, I'm back at 20. And again, 3 is 6 times 18, and I get that 2 again. Okay, so they're just ones that I kind of memorize and remember. Okay, I would suggest you guys kind of want to know those too. 6s and 3rds often repeat. Okay, Carl's baseball team had a picnic. The coach bought 3.5 pounds of potato salad for the picnic. He paid $2.25 per pound. How much did the potato salad cost? Okay, well, when I think about this, I can think about it like a decimal. So I can think 3.5, right? And I'm multiplying that by 2 and 25 hundredths. Why don't you guys pause the video and multiply this out? You can remember, you can ignore the decimals and just start multiplying, and then come back and check your answers. All right, welcome back. 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to put down my 5, carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Carry my 1. 5 times 2, again, is 10, plus 1 is 11. When I move on to the 3, I add a placeholder. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and then I'm going to add down 5, 7, 8, and a 7. And there are how many digits behind the decimals up here? 3. That's how many there need to be behind my answer. Now, because it's money, what do you guys think we should do with this 5? Can I say that it cost $7.87 and half a penny? No, we round up because it's money. It costs $7.88. Okay, so you just round up. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. At the team picnic, the players raced an obstacle course that the coach had planned. The first part of the race was 3/8 of a mile long. The second part was Park Road, and it was 4/10 of a mile long. What was the total amount of the race? So the first thing you have to do is convert 3/8 into a decimal. Okay, so we're going to take that 3, divide it by 8, and add a 0. Go ahead and pause the video, work this out, and come back with what 3/8 is equal to as a decimal. Okay, welcome back. So 3/8 as a decimal, 8 into 30. So 30 divided by 8, or what times 8 is 30, or close to it, it's 3. Okay, 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract out, I get 6, bring another 0 down. 60 divided by 8 is 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Okay, 60 minus 56 is 40. 8 into 45 times. So then I'm not done. This is a multi-step problem, so I have to do 4/10 plus 375 thousandths, sorry, and I get 775 thousandths of a mile. Okay, there is a going further page on this lesson, and I do want you to do the compatibility chart right here. Okay, so I want you to try this out. Just want you to say whether they're divisible by 2, 5, or 10. Remember the rules for them. So thinking about the rules are up top here in this green and blue box. So these are the rules. Use the rules to complete. Okay, and then we'll come back to class tomorrow and talk about them.